Music Publishing Part 1, Section 4. We're going to talk now about public performance royalties. Name the 5 PROs in the USA. ASCAP, the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, the oldest one. BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated. CSAC, which goes by the name of CSAC now, but it formerly stood for the Society of European Stage Authors and Composers. GMR, also known as Global Music Rights, which is a fairly new one, and AllTrack, which is also a new performing rights organization. Here are some international performing rights organizations. SOCAN is for Canada, PRS, Performing Rights Society for UK, SACEM for France, JASRAC for Japan, and GEMA for Germany. I normally don't recommend going to Wikipedia to do your research, but there actually is a good listing of all the international PROs when you search performing rights organizations on Wikipedia, which gives you links to all those performing rights organizations. So it's the one exception where I would normally do that. How are the licenses normally issued? They're issued as blanket licenses. It's basically the performing rights organization, or I'll just say PRO from now on, issues licenses to various users to be able to use all the songs in their catalog, millions of songs. Can writers affiliate with more than one PRO? No, they can't. They need to be signed up with one PRO. Can publishers affiliate with more than one PRO? Yes, but under different names. So here's the allocation of license proceeds. Radio keeps radio logs, and there's also digital monitoring services such as BDS and Mediabase. In TV, there are the old-fashioned cue sheets and also TuneSat, which is a digital service. And then, of course, digital is providing exact data on what is being played. Mistakes can happen with cue sheets, and that's why writers should review those as possible. And then for live events, there's set lists of the band that they have to provide. You can see that mistakes can happen if you're relying on this manual entry. Are performance royalties paid on motion pictures? Not in the USA, but yes in foreign countries. We'll talk about that, but the main reason is that in the old days, the movie theaters were owned by the major studios, and so the major studios said, look, we're already paying to synchronize the music in the film. We don't want to pay a performance royalty on top of that again. Of course, nowadays, the movie theaters are not owned by the major studios, but the law has still stuck, and I don't think that will ever be changed, but we can always hope for that. In terms of print music, we have folios, sheet music, books, and methods. The royalty rates on sheet music are 20% of retail on the sheet music retail price. They go $4.95 or more. 10 to 12.5% of suggested retail price on folios, and they could be anywhere from $24.95 average price. Now, for personality folios, for example, the Bruce Springsteen collection, there would be an extra 5% of the suggested retail price for the NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness. And instructional methods and performance music tend to be 10% of the suggested retail price. So these are all based on the suggested retail price. And royalties are prorated if it's a collection of multiple songs. So whatever the total royalty pool is for that book, it gets divided up among the publishers who are part of that collection. Royalties on copyrighted royalty-bearing songs, because there could be public domain songs or folk songs, etc. Do the print rights include the reprint of the lyrics? Yes, that is part of the print right. So when you see lyrics on all these apps, they have to get clearance from the print music publishers to put those lyrics on there, whether it be Shazam or Spotify or Apple Music, whoever puts them out there. Paper green cards pay royalties if they have music in there, 12.5 to 15 cents or 5 to 8% of wholesale price. Reprinting of lyrics on clothing, anywhere from 8 to 11% of wholesale price. And the normal term is 3 to 5 years. Is it exclusive or non-exclusive? It's mostly, it's non-exclusive unless they're bringing in a lot of money to the table. So it's mostly not non-exclusive. And there's a sell-off period of 6 to 12 months at normal prices. Digital print rights, they're free lyric sites that pay a portion of ad revenue to publishers, and e-cards a greater of 10 to 15 or 5% of suggested retail. And most successful digital print retailer on the market is musicnotes.com. And most digital print rights are non-exclusive with the exception of Warner Chappell and Spirit, which Alfred Music has the exclusive print rights for that. And lyrics for apps such as LyricFind and Genius, 10 to 20%. And that's the end of part 4. Section 4.